Hi everyone. In this lecture, we are going to see some of the examples of preprocessor directives. Okay. In the last lecture, we have discussed about what is meant by preprocessor directives, or what is the role of the preprocessor directives. So preprocessor directives, which consist of actually a header files, right? It consists of an header files. It is not a part of the compilation program, but it will what to do. It will compile the linking loading. So for example, if I am using a printf statement, you know that the header file of the printf statement is stdio.h. So it will link all those library functions according to the printf statement or printf function. So for that purpose, we are going for a preprocessor directives. In this lecture, we will see the some of the examples of preprocessor directives. The first one which we mentioned here is, you know that the preprocessor directives begins with hash symbol, and then it will have a some statement, or we could say this is not a statement, it is a word. Okay, here the word is include and followed by angle bracket, here stdio.h. So the include, it is instructing the compiler to include the header file stdio.h. Okay, so it is not only including that header file. There are so many things. So some macro statement is also be there. So macro statement, sometimes if you want to print a error message, that time you can use a preprocessor directives. Or sometimes for to define a symbolic constant, okay, to define a symbolic constant, we can include it in the preprocessor directives. And some conditional statements also, we'll see one by one all those things. Okay, the first one is it is to substitute, okay, to substitute or include the header file, that is called as stdio.h. So if you are going to use printf or scanf, obviously you have to include a header file called stdio.h. And the next header file is also discussed in the previous lecture, console input output. For that, you have seen an example called getch. This is used to get a character. If you want to use this getch function, you have to include a header file called conio.h. Con refers to console, and I refers to input, and O refers to output. Okay, so this is not alone to get a character, to put a character, all those stuffs will be used in the console input output. And followed by math.h. I think it will be very new if you follow the C program series. So it is the 6th video, so you have a previously 5 videos are there, so you have not seen about this header file. So math.h, if you are going to use any mathematical operation, let us example as sqrt is one of the mathematical operation. If you are going to use this sqrt function, definitely you have to include a header file called math.h. Not only sqrt, all your mathematical operations, if you are going to perform in a program, you have to include this header file. This is also be one of the preprocessor directives. And followed by, apart from that, there are some other functions are there that are collectively called as library functions. So standard library, see, standard input output is also there, console input output is also there, and mathematical operation is the, that's why math.h. And apart from that, some other library functions are there that we have collectively call it as stdlib, standard library functions. For example, if you are going to use a exit of function, okay, exit of function, that time you have to use a library function called stdlib. Not only exit of, there are so many library functions which also be there apart from that mathematical operation, printf, scanf functions. Okay, so if you want to include those things, you have to use stdlib. So as of now, we have discussed 4 header file. One is an stdio.h, another one is an conio.h, and math.h, and stdlib.h. And as I said, like if you are going to define any symbolic constant, so defining the value to the particular symbolic constant. So I hope in the previous lecture you have to see, we have been already discussed like rules for constructing the C program. In that I have used uppercase letters are used to define the symbolic constant. So here the symbolic constant is pi, pi. See, global declaration is different from preprocessor directives. Here I am defining the constant value hash define. Pi is a symbolic constant because it refers one symbol pi. The value of pi is 3.1412. So that is what symbolic constant. That's why I have defined it as in a capital letter and followed by 3.1412. Throughout the program, the value will not be changed. Whereas the global declaration, the same variable name can be used in a more than one function. But here, it is not a case. It is defining the preprocessor directives. Okay. So it is defining the value. Apart from there are so many preprocessor directives are there. Hash if, okay, and then hash undef, okay, and some other things, pragma, hash error. There are so many preprocessor directives which is used for some specific purpose. This is for some conditional purpose. The value is undefined or it is checking that if condition. So hash defined and I am executing in the preprocessor directives itself. Okay. So these are the some of the examples of preprocessor directives. I hope this is the second part of the structure of C program. The first part, you know that documentation section. Okay, that is what we have specifically used for a what command line. Okay, second one is an preprocessor directives. These are the some of the examples of preprocessor directives. Okay, so just one example for each and every header file. So I have discussed that in this video. I hope you will understand my video, and if you really understand my video, please click the like button and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe the press the subscribe button. Okay, so if you press the subscribe button, then only you receive the notification. Okay, so thank you all.